Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for The Walking Dead Dead City. And in today's video, we're going to be doing our overall season review for the very first season of Dead City. Going to go over our thoughts and give a rating. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for The Walking Dead Dead City. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a season recap. We're going to go through the first season of The Walking Dead Dead City. We're going to do a full season review and give our thoughts. So, as you guys know, this is one of the ones I want to get around to now that Dead City is officially a wrap. And now that we're through with some of the Comic-Con announcements, I felt like this was a good time to actually go ahead and do this one. I wanted to let at least about 2 weeks roughly, kind of settle first, and then come on back and revisit the season and give our thoughts. So we're going to go through all of that. We're going to go through our positives. We're going to go through our negatives, the very little negatives that I do have. But we're going to go through our positives and, give our overall thoughts. So yeah, this season, guys, really was amazing. This was a really amazing season for the Walking Dead franchise. I think the first thing I should state right off the bat is it is easily, in my opinion at least, the best Walking Dead spin-off season I've ever seen. That includes every season of World Beyond, the season of Tales, every season of Fear the Walking Dead. Yes, that's right, even season 3 included here. This is, in my opinion, the best season of a spin-off series. Easily the best spin-off series for Walking Dead. Easily the best season of a spin-off series of Walking Dead, and the best spin-off so far too. Absolutely. Now, of course, it's not competing with much because Fear the Walking Dead has a lot of moments where it suffers. World Beyond, I personally did not enjoy at all. And Tales of the Walking Dead I found to be an absolute disgrace. So, with that being said, it's not all that hard to actually beat all three of those shows. But I think within one season, Dead City has already done that, to be honest. Unless season 2, really tanks, which I doubt that's going to happen, this is going to remain the best Walking Dead spinoff, at least for now, until we see the Daryl show, until we see the Rick show, stuff like that. Those ones might beat this one out, but at the moment, I think Dead City is easily the best Walking Dead spinoff story ever told. So, this story focuses on Negan and Maggie, of course. Maggie's son, Herschel, was taken by the Croat, who is a old savior that Negan used to be in charge of, and they are now meeting face to face again. And Negan helps Maggie get Herschel back in order to help her out, but he has to face one of the old saviors that he kicked out years ago. So that's kind of the premise of this first season, and it's really, really good. I'd say the best thing about this show is the Negan character and the development that they gave him. The additional amazing stuff that they gave him in this show compared to the original Walking Dead. Because at the end of The Walking Dead, Negan was kind of going through a redemption arc. He had a pregnant wife. He had, a kid on the way and stuff. And he wasn't really all that evil and, all that screwed up. He was more so just kind of like a good guy towards the end of it, But in this show, I would say he's kind of a mix of both, He is still the redemption Negan with all those, good qualities that made him relatable in the final few seasons, but there's also moments of him in this show where you can easily tell that old Negan, that guy that we knew, that we feared, is still in there at moments, like the knock knock joke, which arguably, in my opinion, is the best moment of the series. The knock knock joke with the guts flying everywhere and all that stuff with Negan, that scene was absolutely amazing. And I love the way he covers his tracks, like the conflict with Luther. He realizes that Luther's a problem for him. He wants to not kill him. He wants to let him go. But Luther practically forces Negan to defend himself in that moment. He won't get out of his way. He won't move. He's going to stand right there. And Negan says, okay, I guess this is what I have to do then. So Negan has a lot of really crazy kills and a lot of really crazy moments. And I think for me at least, Negan is the standout of this season. Getting to see Simon again. Getting to find out the backstory on the Croat and why Negan hates him so much, and why Negan's even a little bit scared of him, you know what I mean? The guy literally killed a young girl right then and there in a torture room like that, and Negan's not about that. That's one thing Negan, you don't touch the kids. That's the one thing Negan always says. So, in a roundabout way of me saying, I think that Negan is the best thing about this show. His backstory, his relationship with the Croat, his rivalry, his savageness, and the additional pieces of redemption that they do give him every once in a while, like helping out Armstrong, helping out Maggie, trading himself in so that Herschel can go back to Maggie and stuff like that, But then you also got intriguing moments where he's about to join the Dama, and you get like that crazy reveal at the end. So I think Negan is definitely the best thing about this show. Now, Maggie as well, too, I think is really good because they kind of play this angle where it's like, who are we following type of angle with her, I find. Because she's going after Herschel, she's trying to get Herschel back, but on the flip side of things, she's lying to Negan. She's luring him into a trap just to get her son back, which obviously, in Maggie's point of view, makes sense. But when you see everything that Negan is doing in order to help her, it kind of starts to raise that question of like, okay, so Maggie is supposed to be the one that we're fully following in this show, but we find ourselves understanding Negan a lot more. At least I do. You know what I mean? I find Negan to be a lot more understandable, a lot more easy to follow than Maggie at the moment. That's just my opinion, of course. But I think that their dynamic and the way they work together in this show is really, really good, And there's a lot of twists. There's moments where Negan and Maggie are totally fine. They're talking about, old stories and Herschel and all this stuff and, old memories and stuff. And then the next minute they're fighting and they're about to kill each other and they got a knife towards, each other's throat, which I do notice that some people have mentioned the parody as well, too, that it's like, you've got Negan getting a knife held to his throat in the pilot episode. And then in the finale episode, you've got, Negan holding a knife to Maggie's throat, right? So it kind of goes full circle, right? So that's pretty cool as well, too. But yeah, their dynamic, their banter back and forth, it was really entertaining, and it was really, really good storytelling, I think. As well as Herschel, the kid didn't really have all that much this season, but I do like what they gave him, talking about how Maggie isn't really fully there, Negan is stuck in her head, and that's keeping her from having a relationship with Herschel somewhat, and Herschel kind of acknowledges that, so I thought that was pretty insane too, and obviously the Dama taking his toe at the end, that was a crazy reveal as well. That's really going to damage him in some sort of way, and I thought it was an interesting line when he said that he felt safer back with the Dama than he does with Maggie, so I thought that was a pretty interesting line right there as well. So that was pretty cool as well. Now, in terms of some of the new characters and some of the new cast that's added for this spinoff, we got Jenny, which I thought was a really good character. Her bond with Negan was pretty cool. I also like the reveal that we find out that actually one of the 5 men that were, I think raping and beating Annie, right? Because she was raped, I believe, and robbed and stuff like that. One of those men was actually Jenny's father. So Negan ends up telling her this, and of course, that kind of breaks the bond, right? But I think their storyline is far from over, and I think it's a very interesting one so far. So I thought that was pretty cool. I was always kind of wondering, like, why didn't they just put, like, Lydia in this show, you know what I mean? And maybe have her have a bond with Negan, in this show. But then when you understand the story of what they're doing with Jenny, you kind of start to understand why they didn't do that with Lydia. So pretty cool story with Jenny. I do like it. I like the whole, talking and scared of talking type of thing, which does come around at the end of the season, and that was pretty cool. Now, in terms of the Croat, and the Barazzi and the Dama and that whole storyline, I thought they were really good. You know what I mean? I love the savior backstory about Negan blowing off his ear in revenge for the young girl that he tortured. I thought that was really good. I think the Croat was somehow very quotable and a lot of fun to watch. You know what I mean? There's a lot of scenes where he's just kind of acting outrageous and he's like, Negan, and stuff like that. So I thought he was pretty entertaining. I think the actor, definitely did a good job as well, and I liked what they did with it. I liked how he's just like, oh, no Lucille, eh? Too many cracks to the head or something like that, And he's like sitting there and he's like, oh, well, you lost the sanctuary. It's okay because I have built a new one, The place is friggin' destroyed. He's friggin' cuckoo, man. He's out of his mind. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. And then you reveal the Dama as kind of like the overall leader, which, that's been done in entertainment a lot. You think one guy's in charge, but then you find out that he's got a boss, you know what I mean? So that's what Dama is. But I really liked her character, and I liked what they did with her. Obviously, Darlene from Ozark. Anyone? So I thought that was pretty cool as well. And yeah, I enjoyed her character a lot. I enjoyed the Barazzi. I enjoyed everything about it. Now, We also had Armstrong, which of course was the bounty hunter that was going after Negan. So I thought that was pretty cool. They kind of gave him a redemption arc and they kind of made him join our side. I thought his story was really good too. You know what I mean? I like how he was at first going after Negan. Then he kind of gets to know Negan. And after a little while, Negan saves his life several times. The guy finally comes around and actually helps Negan. He takes, Jenny back to Hilltop and, even lies to his new Babylon leader, which I thought was pretty crazy. So he's definitely going to flip, We have yet to see his family because he has talked about them a few times, but I thought the character was really well handled. I thought Armstrong was very, very good as well. And now let's talk about the other group. So we had Tommaso, we had Amaya, and we had Luther, right? Now Luther we've discussed, of course, his death and, his conflict with Negan, which I did enjoy. But Tommaso and Amaya, so these two I enjoyed, you know what I mean? I felt like maybe we could have gotten a bit more on them, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we could have developed them a bit more, because I do find their death to be very quick, you know what I mean? But in terms of the characters and in terms of their storyline, I thought they were really good, you know what I mean? I thought they were absolutely fantastic. I thought they were really, really well done. I thought they were really, really well executed, and I think overall, their story was good. I just feel like maybe they could have killed them in a better way, you know what I mean? Personally, for me at least, I would have killed Tommaso by the crazy walker that Maggie runs into. I would have had that walker actually take Tommaso down, call me nuts. I would have had that be like a major monster movie type of moment, And Amaya, call me crazy, I would have had live. I would have had her survive. Now, I understand story-wise that you kind of can't because Negan and Maggie have to be alone in the finale for that whole conflict to go down. But I feel like you could have done it in a way where Tommaso dies and Amaya runs away, right? She gets away, but you don't know where she goes. You know what I mean? Her story is open-ended. And then in season 2, she comes back in the story. I think that would be very, very interesting. And maybe she even finds out in season 2 that Negan killed Luther, Because that's one of the plot points that I always found was kind of lacking in this show, is Negan kills Luther, that's fine. But he never has any kind of explanation to do, or he never, reveals to Tommaso or Amaya that he killed Luther. And now with all of them being dead, that story's irrelevant. It's never going to come to fruition. So I do find that to be my one big nitpick, my one big flaw with Dead City, is I feel like that story wasn't wrapped up correctly. I feel like there was more to do there. And I feel like if you would have had Tommaso die, you could still have him betray the group if you want. But Amaya in particular, you should have kept her alive so that the Luther story didn't feel like kind of a waste of time. Because it was a good scene, right? It was a good scene where he killed Luther. But in longevity of what happened and Negan having to, potentially answer for what he did to Luther, he's never going to have to do that, And they were building that storyline up. So I do find that to be a little bit odd. But it's the only real problem I have with Dead City. I enjoy Tommaso and Amaya, but I do feel like the ending of those characters was kind of abrupt, I will say. Looking back on it, I think it was a little too abrupt, to be fully honest. I've heard a lot of fans discussing that. I've watched it again myself, and I can honestly say that, yeah, it's the one thing about this show that I wish they would have adjusted, to be honest. So, yeah. But in terms of that, now let's go over all these episodes because these episodes are really, really good. Episode 1, really enjoyed it. Old Acquaintances, really, really amazing episode. You get, of course, the bounty hunter vibe with Armstrong coming after them. You've got kind of some updates on how Negan and Maggie have been doing. You've got the one guy that they take captive and bring into the city and stuff. Croat's introduction, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I love that episode. I thought that was really good. Episode 2. Really good episode as well. You get Tommaso and Amaya's group. You get the Barazzi that attack in that one. You got the knock-knock joke, which is really good. So that one was amazing. Episode 3, you get the flashbacks between Negan and Jenny, which I really enjoyed. You've also got the arena fight with Armstrong in there with Croat watching him, which I really enjoyed. You also got the death of Luther in that episode, so that was pretty good. Episode 4, I thought was phenomenal. You had the Simon flashback, of course. You had the arena fight. You had Negan versus the Croat. A lot of really great Walker action, a lot of really great stuff there. You had episode 5, which was, of course, a lot of Negan and Armstrong. Armstrong kind of coming around on on Negan. You've got that crazy monster walker thing that Maggie faces with the death of Tommaso and Amaya, which, like I said, is my one gripe with the show, I'd say. Yeah, you know, and you also had the Dama's introduction. And then the finale, obviously, you had the trade-off. You had the fight between Negan and Maggie. You had Armstrong lying to the New Babylon leader about what really happened out there with Negan. You had the Dama offering a job to Negan to take over New York, and yeah, you know, you had Herschel's toe, and you know the Maggie scenes, of course, and yeah, I thought it was really good. Ending things off with the split screen as well, which I thought was pretty badass. So yeah, I am gonna give a very specific rating to this. It's not even a 10 out of 10. It's not a 9.5. I'm gonna give it a 9.9. That's the best I can do, because if I gave it a 10 out of 10, I would be ignoring the flaw of Tommaso and Amaya. I would be. And unfortunately, we just can't quite give it that 10 out of 10. But to me, at least, it's a 9.9. It's as close to perfect as you're gonna get. Like, honestly. It is so damn close to perfect, it's not even funny. And that's why I wanted to sit on it for a few weeks. I really wanted to think of my rating and really think about it, you know, in depth. I have a 9.9. I have a 99%. Like, honestly, they did damn near a flawless job with this show. I just think minor little details could have been adjusted, which I feel like is really good, because honestly, Walking Dead has not had a spin-off, or hell, even a season that I think warrants a 99% on a test. You know what I mean? Like, if you're given a test, you get a 99%, holy crap, you done well and then some, you know? So, Dead City, to me, is almost perfect. It's almost perfect. So let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys think about Dead City? Do you agree with my 99% because of the little Tommaso and Amaya moment that was a little too quick, and the lack of potential, you know what I mean? But aside from that, and, you know, again, that's minor stuff. Aside from that, I love the season. I love everything about it. The visuals were incredible. The storytelling was incredible. The dynamic between Negan and Maggie, Maggie and Herschel, Negan and, you know, Jenny. There was a lot there. There was a lot there. And it finally felt like The Walking Dead had real budget. It felt like it really had a budget, and they used it to their full potential. At least in my opinion, I thought they really did. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about Dead City, The Walking Dead, Dead City. Leave some comments below, and of course, if you're new to the channel, guys, and you enjoy this video, make sure to click that subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos of The Walking Dead, Dead City. Be sure to follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead reviews on Instagram, guys, and of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos for Dead City. Enjoy the rest of the day, guys, and peace out.